A monkey walks through a forest. On its back, something is clinging. It is not eating it. It is not playing with it. It is not feeding it. It is just carrying it. And for 15 months, on a remote island in Panama, this kept happening. And nobody, including the scientists watching, could explain why. This story takes place in Jicaron Island on the Pacific coast of Panama, 55 kilometers offshore, inside the Coiba National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is a small island, but it has something unusual. Two species of monkeys share this island, with no terrestrial predators, few competitors, and a remarkable amount of free time. The white-faced capuchin, small as a domestic cat, among the most cognitively sophisticated monkeys in the New World, known for tool use, social learning, and problem-solving that has surprised researchers for decades, and the mantled howler monkey, a subspecies found on Jicaron, which is endangered. Their infants depend entirely on their mother's milk for the first months of their life. These two species have coexisted for thousands of years. On most of their shared range, they simply ignore each other. This is until January 2022, when a doctoral researcher named Zoe Goldsboro was reviewing footage from 76 camera traps installed across Jicaron Island. The cameras were there to document something extraordinary. Capuchins on Jicaron use stone tools to crack open hard food. A unique evolution. But they'd found something more that had nothing to do with stone tools. A capuchin walking through the forest, something on its back, something the wrong color and size to be a capuchin infant. It was so weird that I went straight to my advisor's office to ask him what it was, said Zoe Goldsboro, a juvenile male nicknamed Joker, was carrying a howler monkey infant. Over the following months, Joker carried 4 different howler infants then. Other 4 juvenile male capuchins were observed doing the same behavior. Different capuchins, different infants. In 15 months, from January 2022 to March 2023, 5 immature male capuchins had abducted 11 different howler monkey infants, carrying them for between 2 and 9 days. And the researchers noticed something even stranger. When howler monkey parents arrived, calling desperately for their infants, other capuchins in the group helped keep them away. Capuchins who were not themselves carrying any infant. This was no longer one animal's strange habit. It had become collective behavior. They were looking at the first documented case of one species repeatedly abducting the infants of another, driven by the spread of a social tradition. Their first hypothesis, predation. Are they eating the infants? A plausible explanation, since infanticide is common in many species, but no, not a single act of aggression was recorded. The capuchins didn't hurt the infants. They just carried them. Second hypothesis, adoption. Cases of cross-species adoption exist, rare but documented. Were the capuchins raising howler infants as their own? No. The adult howlers were recorded calling for their infants. These were not abandoned babies. These were infants taken from their parents. The third hypothesis, play behavior. However, the capuchins barely interacted with the infants they were carrying. In total, 11 infants were abducted. At least 4 died, seemingly from malnourishment. Whatever this was, it was not a heartwarming story. After eliminating every standard explanation, the researchers arrived at something unusual. A fashion, a fad, a social tradition that spread through the group because Joker started it, and others watched and copied. As capuchins are social learners, this is the first time in the scientific literature that one species has been documented repeatedly abducting the infants of another due to the spread of a social tradition. Not instinct, not survival, culture. So what led to this trend? Jicaron is unusual. No terrestrial predators, low species richness, and reduced social cohesion causing understimulation. The group of capuchins had significantly more free time than their mainland relatives. The researcher Meg Crowfoot offered the most compelling explanation. The conditions on Jicaron Island, specifically the lack of terrestrial predators and potentially greater amount of free time, are very conducive to the innovation and spread of behaviors. The same conditions that produced the stone tool tradition may have produced this. The capuchins who kidnap infants are the same individuals who crack stones. Both traditions emerged from the same island, the same free time, the same absence of existential pressure. Boredom, it turns out, may be the mother of invention, or in this case, of something much stranger. There is a question worth sitting with. Capuchins are among the most cognitively sophisticated non-human primates we know, and on this island, freed from predators, freed from competition, freed from scarcity, their cognition went somewhere. Somewhere surprising. Somewhere that caused real harm. The researchers wrote in their paper that the conditions of the island might have yielded free time and potentially boredom, which are linked to innovation in both humans and other animals. But there is a detail in the paper that the researchers take seriously. The mantled howler monkey on Jicaron is endangered. If this behavior spreads to other capuchin groups, or continues to impact the howler population, it could become a conservation problem for Coiba National Park. One species' cultural fad could have real consequences for another species' survival. This is not the heartwarming story of an interspecies friendship. It is something more uncomfortable and more interesting. If you want to go deeper, the full paper is linked in the description. And if this video made you think about what intelligence actually looks like in the wild, the previous video on this channel explores exactly that, and why almost everything we think we know about measuring animal intelligence is wrong.